Hey, I think we're live. Hey, ladies.
Hey there.
Hello.
Hello. Checking to see if I got a notification that we went live.
I'm going to do the same.
Let's see here.
Yep.
Oh, hey, ladies. Hey, there we are. I'm going to mute my
Teresa.
phone. Hey, Teresa's with us. It's a party now.
Nice.
Hey, Teresa. That's awesome.
So great to have you on, Teresa, as I know that you are a Halloween pro when it comes to celebrating.
Such the pro. She's all about the Halloween holiday.
Yes.
Oh, goodness. So far, it's just the four of us. So we'll give folks a minute.
Yeah, and it's a little bit early too.
Yeah, we're a little early. All right.
Jen, I just noticed your pumpkin in the background.
Yeah, he had a fun little light in him, but it, of course, went out right before we jumped on here.
It happens. Welcome, Shane.
Hey, Shane. Boo. He's booing us. Our Halloween boo.
Hi, Jennifer.
Jennifer, great to have you.
Oh, Teresa's appreciating our festiveness here.
Yes.
You're going to have to stand up at some point, Jen, and show off your shirt.
Oh, I will.
Oh, all right. I'll give folks a little bit more time. It's not quite top of the hour, but nice to get on early and greet people as they're coming on.
I know, it's great.
Yes, Shane, I see your spooky boo. You weren't booing us. You were giving us a spooky boo. Boo. Oh, it's funny. Gotta love the ability to communicate, live like this in a group. It's just fantastic.
So fun.
Mm-hmm. So fun. All right. I'm showing we have 16 people on.
Nice.
Yeah. Be sure and speak up if you're here.
Yep, say hello.
Yeah, definitely. Give us a Halloween hello.
Got Bob on. Hi, Bob.
Diane.
Hey, congratulations on the Dodgers winning, Bob. That's fantastic. I know you're their biggest fan.
Yes.
That's great.
Susan and Tanya have joined us.
Oh, great. Excellent. I think I'm a beat behind everybody in the comments, so I apologize if I'm a little bit late on things. So what do you think, ladies? It's top of the hour. Shall we kick this thing off?
Let's do it.
All right. All right. Well, in case you don't realize it, you've joined the Halloween happy hour with coaches Sandi. I'm Sandi, and we've got Kate with the pineapples on her head. And Jen A is joining us as well. We're the trio for the happy hour. So glad everybody's with us. And we are going to talk about all things Halloween today. And, this just kicks off the end of the year holidays. And I don't know about the rest of you or both of you, my cohorts here, but holidays can come with, a lot of emotions and challenges and a lot of joy as well. And so, you think about connecting with family and friends and your holiday traditions, that sort of thing. But they're often associated so often with food, and that can bring some challenges in and of itself. So thinking about Halloween, whether or not you have little ones at home or not, there's possibly some sort of challenge you're up against. So we're going to unpack some of those. But along the way, of course, we want to celebrate any strategies you already have in place that you're going to use for this holiday weekend. Keep commenting if you're joining. We want to know who's here. And just as we are just kind of thinking about Halloween, I feel like we had to start thinking about it way back in August. Did you ladies start seeing candy in stores in August?
Yeah, absolutely.
I did. It's unbelievable how early it was on the shelves. And another thing I noticed is how early they started deeply discounting the candy, the Halloween candy. Oh boy, that just makes it even harder for a lot of folks to resist. And it's only going to get worse the day after Halloween and with even more deeply discounted. So, so we're going to talk about, just whether you're in phase 1 or phase 2, the goal of planning, going into this holiday with a plan, and even on the other side of the holiday, the day after. And so, when we find ourselves in these situations with Halloween or Thanksgiving or Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever it is, it's so important to have a plan. So I'm glad you're all here because we're going to toss around a lot of ideas. And ladies, hold up your happy hour shake.
Cheers.
We're going to talk about these later. Cheers. We're going to tell you what's in our cup in a little bit, but let's check and see who else has joined our group here.
Yeah, we have Smoky Jasmine has joined us. We have Kristen Elizabeth, Joanna. We have Patty, who's on each week. Ruya has joined us from Massachusetts. Coach Gina, I'm also in Massachusetts. Great to have you on, Gina. Deborah, Iris, who's on many of these sessions. So nice to see many familiar faces and also some new people. Anita, great to have you. Kellyanne, so nice that people are tuning in to join us tonight.
Awesome.
So one of the things that I often think about, and we've discussed this as a group, is knowing what the plans will be really does help us come up with some specific next steps to take on. And this is all about giving you an opportunity to plan and ultimately think about how you can have a successful and healthy weekend. And I've been thinking a lot about my plans, and I have a 10-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 1-year-old. And at least for my older two, this is typically a really exciting holiday for them. And at first we had come up with a plan, obviously considering COVID, to maybe go to a couple different family members' houses and say an outdoor socially distanced hello. And was thinking about, my kids are going to get candy, so how am I going to deal with that? And of course, we'll get into that. And then today I got an email from my son's head of school saying, no trick-or-treating, buy the kids all the candy that they want, lock your doors, turn the lights off. So now I'm thinking I may be trapped in my home on Saturday with candy. And so I need to come up with a game plan for that. But the point is that we want to know what we're up against so that we can then strategize and really come up with a good game plan. I'm curious for you folks, and then I want people posting too on our feed, what will be your Saturday or Halloween related plans. Jen, what do you have going on?
A little bit like you, we're just having to be really flexible because plans are changing, it seems like, from day to day. So I don't even know if we're really going to have trick-or-treating or be participating in that, but I think definitely we're supposed to have some nice weather. So minimally, we'll get the fire pit out, sit outside as a family, hang out. Maybe we'll tell some spooky ghost stories and scare one another a little bit.
So fun.
Sounds great. Yeah. We don't anticipate having any trick-or-treaters this year. But we still want to celebrate, just kind of join in the fun. So, and I've got adult children. I don't have little ones at home. And so we're having a movie night. We're going to just pull up a fun, not too scary, I hope, Halloween movie and just watch together. And perhaps like Jen is talking about, sitting around the fire, we may do that as well with some hot 120 chocolate or hot cocoa for my one daughter who just has her recipe she likes. But yeah, there's other things we can consider doing if we aren't doing the usual on this Halloween.
Okay. I got some fun little things to enjoy, even if we're not giving out these flashy rings, that we can have a little indoor party. Some of these glow sticks that can be bracelets, necklaces. So like you were saying, Sandy, still being able to enjoy the spirit of the holiday, even if it's going to look a little bit different.
Right.
You know, Patty just chimed in and said, we're giving out books and stickers instead of candy or change for the older kids.
Yeah.
Very similar to you, Kate.
Yeah. I know Susan wrote too, not quite sure, maybe a neighborhood thing, maybe a candy hunt in the yard. I know that a lot of us do have plans a little bit up in the air, but one thing that we can probably count on is that there would be an opportunity to indulge in candy. That is probably a common theme that all of us could experience.
Yeah. We were talking about candy in stores. I don't know if everybody saw what Shane wrote. 2020, highest Halloween candy sales in history. I believe it.
I was thinking that people are just going to be like, maybe I'll just stay in all night and eat candy, given what's going on.
Right. Yeah. So please share. I mean, Christine's already got something on here. We're going to the zoo during the day and watching a movie. We're not passing out candy this year.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Great.
These are wonderful plans. People are already getting into the strategizing.
So if for those of you who are just joining us, just to recap, we're talking about Halloween plans, some of the challenges. Definitely we want to get into some helpful strategies this evening and even talk about some fun recipe ideas that could be really supportive. And earlier this week, we did put out a question on the Facebook page, and we asked you, what are you most concerned about in regards to Halloween? What's going to be tough for you? And we already had some people who were really clear on what some of these challenges were going to be. I know Maura said that candy will be in the house, right? So Kate, just to what you were speaking to, right? Just being at home, candy being in the house is a challenge. Christine mentioned binging on candy is a concern. And Lori said, and she was strategizing already, I can't have candy in the house. I buy the candy right before the start. And as it's winding down, I give kids handfuls to make sure that I don't have any leftovers in the house.
Yeah.
So really good strategies there. But we'd love to hear, what stands out for you? What are you most concerned about? Please share, post, and we'll try to give you some support around some of these concerns.
Yep.
Knowing what our challenges are really allows us to get into creating some solutions around them.
That's for sure. We're going to get into some of those solutions in a moment. I wanted to mention one more I noticed rolled in kind of later in the day, answering the question, what are you up against? What are you most concerned about with this holiday? And Marlene said that she has 5 kids in the house, and there will be 10 bags of candy brought into her home. Can you imagine? One from the school, one from trick-or-treating. And so imagine having to manage that.
Yeah.
But hopefully, we'll put you in if Marlene's watching, I don't know if she's with us, but hopefully we'll have some strategies and suggestions for you to manage that minefield. That's a tough one, Marlene.
Coach Jen C had shared in a meeting I had with her just a couple hours ago that her son celebrated Halloween at school, and she figured it would just be like a great opportunity to wear a costume. And he came home with a massive bag of candy, just unexpectedly. It's like the candy can just happen at any moment. So we really do want to have our radar up.
Great. Yeah. Would you believe some strategies are already rolling in from this group? I believe it because we've got the experts right here with us. Bob mentioned he always gets candy that he doesn't like. So it's not something he's
smart. Yep.
And yeah, so keep those strategies coming. We're going to get into them, just unpack some of the most common strategies that we've come up with around this time of year. And the theme seems to be candy in your environment, or treats in the environment. So why don't we start there with environmental control? Yeah. We all know if it's there, we will possibly eat it. If it's not there, you can't eat it, right? Kind of an obvious thing. So the idea of thinking creatively about making your environments as supportive as possible, keeping tempting foods just out of sight. They may be there, but if you're not constantly passing by them on the counter, you're going to make it easier on yourself. If you're not wanting to eat as many, if you're in phase 2, you can have candy, but maybe you're wanting to think about how much you're allowing yourself to have this time of year. phase one folks, we know we want to just stay in the box to have the best results. So keep things out of sight.
Yeah.
And yeah, what strategies have you guys used for either keeping things out of sight or keeping your environment so that they are the most supportive? Have you got any tricks up your sleeve, ladies?
I will say with Halloween candy this year, I've asked my husband to keep it in the trunk of his car. And that way it's not coming into the house. I'm not even, tempted. I can't get to it.
I love that.
So I have this my little switch witch.
Oh, yes.
And we have a book too. And I've done that the last number of years with the kids because there were times that I kind of got through the holiday successfully, but then really stumbled after the fact. And we're talking like day after day. So my kiddos write a letter to the Switch Witch. And in the last couple of years, I was planning to do it again. They can enjoy some candy on the holiday, but they leave their candy for the Switch Witch.
Yeah.
And the Switch Witch will leave them a special something that is not candy. And then the goal is the day after the holiday to donate the candy to the local food pantry and not be the Switch Witch and not eat it. So that plan allows me to get everything out of the house because for me, even if it's not something that I love, if it's there, I will find myself eating it. So I just don't want to leave anything up to chance.
I love that. We think of Halloween as an event that happens, that one evening, but boy, there's so much to think about leading up to it and afterwards. So love that you've already thought through some of your plans there, Kate. Hopefully it's, there's some good ideas in there, some nuggets that people can take and run with. I want to also just mention a kind of a funny story with someone really, wanting to do the right thing, followed through on a plan to have a conversation with their spouse about hiding the candy. And he hid it in a bowl in the oven. She didn't turn the oven on to make something for her kids. And it all melted, which that took care of that chocolate. But the bowl too. But no, having conversations with family members and getting them as part of your support system for your plans around keeping things out of sight or, just limiting your exposure to some foods that you may want to be limiting yourself to eating or not eating at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jennifer chimed in here. She said, whatever my son ends up with, it goes in his room and out of sight.
Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she said, I don't normally go into stores for shopping, so it's usually not a problem with those lovely candy clearance sales. Yeah. Yeah. A couple days after Halloween might be a good idea to just kind of avoid stores like Target, CVS. Yeah. Grocery store. All right.
And Diane also mentioned too that some dentists will buy your leftover candy. So most likely you could search in your area what would be places that you could donate.
Yes.
I know that Troops is an opportunity to send to my local food pantry has already posted saying they would like candy, and dental office is also good to look into.
Great ideas. Are you seeing anything else there, Jen? I'm looking through the comments.
I've seen two different posts. This is interesting about knitting and crocheting, keeping your hands busy, and how that can be really helpful. So those comments were from Christine and from Tanya.
Nice.
Yeah.
That reminds me of, when certain foods just get to be too tempting, remove yourself or keep yourself busy with something, go for a walk, pick up your instrument you play, or go water the flowers or whatever it is, knit or crochet. I love it.
And an HMR food on hand is not only something to keep us filling and on track, but also the visual reminder of the goals that we have for ourselves.
Thank you. I wanted to mention that. Thanks, Kate. Absolutely. Not only removing foods out of your environment, but having those foods that are going to be supportive of your goals, nice and ready to grab, and a visual cue. You held up your shake, I'll hold up mine. We're going to get into these shakes here, and I'm afraid to drink mine. It looks so pretty in my glass. We'll talk about what's in those cups in a minute. So we're talking about strategies here with Coach Sandi, Kate, and Jen. If you're just joining us, strategies for the holiday coming up this weekend, Halloween. So I want to get into that evening time. With an evening holiday, it can be so easy to get caught up in things, all the activity in the house, or just getting ready for perhaps a party, if anybody's having parties, or the trick-or-treating, or getting the costumes on the kids, or what have you. And it can be so easy to kind of throw out your evening plans for your dinner, making it a good choice like you would normally do. And that can just lead to more challenges. So some of the challenges that were mentioned, I don't know that they were brought up earlier when we were talking about what folks had already mentioned, but I remember somebody saying, traditionally we have pizza night, on a holiday like Halloween. And, if you're in phase one, that could really catch you off guard. And so really eating perhaps before the family brings in that forbidden food, or a food that you don't want to indulge in, eating before it comes in the house or before it's made. Maybe even consider going for a walk while others are enjoying a particular food that's not on your plan, and having them put it away afterwards so you don't have to mess with it. Another thing I thought of too is to just kind of, if you're, have kids around, you want to make dinner fun, want to make it a healthy meal. Kids like silly things like monster mashed potatoes. You put a little food coloring, maybe purple food coloring in the mashed potatoes. Some zombie zucchini. I don't know what you do with that, but it sounded cute. Vampire veggie soup, whatever you want to do, witch's brew stew. Just kind of put a fun, creative spin on it. Could be fun. Yeah. And then I think about after dinner too. Is to be prepared with like a big shake, some 70+ puddings in the fridge with fruit, those sorts of things. Phase two, there's lots of other options as well. Maybe some Jell-O or some yogurt with fruit. And, just thinking about staying ahead of the holiday before it gets here. What are you going to do to really make sure? I'm watching a little goblin behind Kate.
A vampire has joined me.
Hey!
This is my 7-year-old vampire Shelby, and I do have a 1.5-year-old vampire Ruby, but she's somewhere else.
Okay. Hey, vampire Shelby. All right. So any other thoughts around the evening dinner hour that folks have thought about? Let me just see here. Hey, Chrissy's joined us. Hey, Chrissy.
Nice. Jackie, Sandi, Anna.
Nice.
You're bringing up such a good point, Sandi, because it's always great to reflect on challenges from years past as we're planning for this year. And like you were saying, kind of getting through the chaos of the afternoon, early evening, we're trying to get the kids in costumes and they're wanting to go out earlier. And then what has happened is we're kind of getting out exactly at the time when I would typically have, let's say, an HMR entree with veggies. So not only could I potentially miss, something leading into that time, I could miss the structured dinner altogether. Yeah. Then of course there's candy, and it's like the perfect storm for a challenge. So that's what we want to avoid.
Thanks for putting the bow on that, Kate. That's such an important point. Yeah.
A crock pot is great for Halloween because I can start it early, like turkey chili, lots of veggies, and have it cooking, and then it's ready for me at the time when I would want to have something quick and don't need to make something in the moment.
I think you meant to say terrifying chili.
Terrifying chili. Made by the vampires.
That is so nice and handy though, because then you can just keep coming back to it, and you can have a little bit here and then get the kids going and then have a little bit, a little bit later when you want it. And I think also just making sure we've got lots of veggies just cut up, ready to go, things that we can be munching on as we're kind of passing through, getting through these hours.
Right. Yeah. I also wanted to talk about, the fact that this year is so different from other years. So why not do something different, something than the usual? And we've talked about some of the things the three of us are going to do that are pretty out of the norm, rather than handing out candy, perhaps watching a movie or having a bonfire with the family. I think also of, changing things up, maybe make it a game night, not so much centered around food, but more about spending time with those in your household. thinking about some other things. Pumpkin carving, have a little time of just everybody carving their own pumpkin if you haven't done that already. Drive around looking at decorations. It's just a lot of ways to spend time together that doesn't revolve around the candy or the food.
True.
Any other ideas in that regard, ladies? I'll check and see. Trunk or treats. Yeah, trunk or treats. Jennifer mentioned. I forgot about those.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
Susan says, if anyone's tempted to eat candy, make your favorite shake, right? Even if you've already met your minimums in phase one.
Yeah.
Love that. More is better, right? I mean, what better day to bring out more is better than Halloween?
And
right. Stay full. Stay ahead of it.
Bob wants to know if we can skip Halloween this year. Maybe. Right.
Pretend like it's not happening, I suppose.
So, speaking of shakes, and Susan mentioning that, it's such a good segue because these are all really good ideas. But again, it comes down to planning and what could happen if we don't have a solid plan in place. And when we think about these bite-sized candies, which literally, as we've said, are just everywhere, they're absolutely lethal for me because I could have dozens of those little mini bite-sized pieces of candy, and never at any point do I feel like I've eaten, the entire full-size candy bar. Yeah. The candy's just low in volume. It's not filling. And, examples are everywhere we look, but, one of the most popular, common, Halloween candies is candy corn. And if you think about just a small bag of candy corn, potentially that could easily be over 400 calories. Whoa. And we could eat that without even thinking about it, just grabbing a handful, here and there as we're going through the day. And I have to say, I do have a favorite candy. We won't spend a lot of time on this, but you guys will recognize it. A little glimpse there. But, just one package of Reese cups is almost 200 calories for just over 1 ounce of food. Wow. So if we want to compare that to HMR's Reese Shake, which is a chocolate shake, you add a tablespoon of the PB2 powder to that, that's about 150 calories. For, depending on how you make it, up to 15 ounces of food, right? So more than 10 times the volume of food for about the same or even fewer calories. And what I love is it tastes great and it lasts longer than eating the candy does. So you have something that you can sip on for a while. So, these candies, though, they seem just small and kind of innocent, they really can be a slippery slope because for me, at least, it can be really hard to stop eating them once I start, right? So we did want to share some of our shakes that we've been showing throughout the session so far. Sandi, you want to start with yours?
Oh, sure. And be sure you click on the like button if you hear a recipe you like. All right, so no lie, one of my favorite candy bars is a Butterfinger. And can't remember the last time I had one, maybe Christmas time last year. Somebody always puts one in my stocking. Anyway, so I made a Butterfinger shake and put it in my cute Sandi cup. And basically it's my chocolate shake, a tablespoon each of PB2 and sugar-free, fat-free butterscotch Jell-O pudding. And it just tastes like the flavor of a Butterfinger for, what do you think, ladies? Maybe 170 calories. And I know that a fun size Butterfinger is 100 calories. And like Jen was saying, I could eat one of those and it's not gonna, I'll feel like I need to eat another and another, never really filling up, but eating a lot of calories in a short amount of time. But Butterfinger shake, so good. All right, there's mine. What about you, Kate?
I feel like, Jen, you inspired me, and Sandi, we're all PB2 lovers and Reese's lovers and all the candies. I did a chocolate with PB2 and I put some salted caramel, sugar-free Tarani syrup in it. and it is quite delicious. And what I typically do over a holiday is I'll make a huge double shake. And I've done a couple different things. I have put half in the freezer so that after I enjoy the first half, I can take it out and eat it with a spoon. It goes longer that way. It's a nice texture. And other times I'll put a double or even a triple in my big 40-ounce thermos cup. And that way I can sip on it because, oftentimes hanging out for many hours. So I don't want to leave anything up to chance that I can get through the whole time of being able to make the choices that I want.
It's a great idea.
Love that. Bob is echoing what you were saying, Jen. It's so easy to do mindless eating, track of calories when you're eating just handfuls or small bites of things. Yeah.
Tips on the scale isn't going in the direction we want. It almost can feel surprising, like I didn't really do much, but it adds up a lot.
Yeah. It's easy to forget those little bites, isn't it?
It is easy to forget it.
Hardly notice them. So I'll share the shake that I made. This is actually on our diet site. You can see it's green. It's the zombie shake. And this one is made with the vanilla 120. You use half a banana, add a cup of spinach. You can, if you want to, add a kiwi to this. And then what makes it extra fun is that you just puree up some berries, and you want them to be really bright, like red or purple, so that when you drizzle it around the top of it, it'll kind of slide down the sides, and it's sort of a gory shake. I don't know if you can see the red in there. I probably didn't add quite enough, but again, lots and lots of volume for very few calories. And here, if you're doing healthy solutions or in phase 2, you're also getting in these fruit servings, which are going to help you stay nice and full.
Yeah. Well, I love it. So we had a Snickers, a Butterfinger, and a zombie shake here. What are some recipes you folks are sampling this time of year, seasonal? You've got something in mind that you are planning to have or you have had, please put it in the comments. We would love to hear about it. All right. So just to piggyback on what Jen said, if you're in phase 2 and do plan to have a holiday treat, it's just as important that you have a plan as you would need to have a plan in phase 1. And so, want to make sure you're thinking about what you have, how you'll structure your day on Saturday and Sunday. And, what are the consequences on your goals by the choices you make? You really need to think through that. And are you thinking about it now versus in the moment or after the fact or on the fly? And so just want to make sure everybody realizes that if you're in phase 2, the goal isn't necessarily be in the box, but hopefully you're hearing some takeaways that you can use this coming weekend to support your goals. I think we lost Kate.
I think we did.
Uh-oh.
We did. I'm checking to see if we have any other favorite high volume shake recipes or other strategies that people have posted.
Great. I also see that the 2 shakes that you and Kate mentioned are already posted. If anybody's looking for the recipe for the zombie shake and the Snickers shake, it's there. We don't have the Butterfinger recipe on the website, but just remember, tablespoon each of PB2 and butterscotch pudding with a chocolate shake. That's all it is.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Oh, Susan's posted a recipe: pumpkin, vanilla 120, pumpkin pie spice, sugar-free butterscotch pudding, sugar-free maple syrup, and canned pumpkin, ice. I'm assuming some water in there. Sounds really yummy. Thanks, Susan. It's a great tip. Well, hopefully Kate finds her way back to us.
I hope so. We've been talking so much about the day of Halloween and how challenging that can be, getting ready for trick-or-treating, and then what happens, during the actual time. that we may be involved in those kinds of activities. But it's also really important to make sure that we have a plan in place for after Halloween. I know Kate mentioned this before, that sometimes, you know, we're able to have a great plan in place for the actual event or the actual holiday, and then it can be so easy to just fall right into the candy the day after if it's still in the environment. You know, if it's there, eventually that temptation is going to wear us down, and it's just so easy to give in. So, you know, I'd love to throw that question out too. What are you planning to do if there is going to be candy in your environment? What will you do with the remaining candy the day after? Right.
It's a really good point. We really want to be thinking through all those details rather than get blindsided. And I think we too need to be aware of our own tendencies, and just be honest with ourselves. Is that going to be too great of a temptation for too long of a time? And having a plan to make sure that you're creating those supportive environments like we talked about earlier.
Yeah, and even the next day on Sunday, you know, go ahead and make a plan to get a great start with your health behaviors. Maybe start the day with physical activity, or, you know, have a really great breakfast, have an HMR smoothie, have the hot cereal with fruit, you know, something filling and really supportive that you can feel good about.
Yeah, that's a really good point. You know, let's say the holiday didn't go as well as you'd planned. You know, just to do a healthy, supportive behavior immediately. Don't wait till Monday morning. You know, just jump right in with a positive, healthy behavior, whether it's making a shake, you know, filling up on fruits and veggies, going out for some PA, whatever it is. You know, just make sure you get back in that success cycle so you don't do, you know, go down a path you didn't really intend to go down. So right. Yeah, definitely something to think about.
Shane has a strategy for getting that candy out of the house. He says, take what she doesn't like and take it to work and give it away.
Oh, I love it. Great idea. Some other recipes are rolling in. Jennifer, s'mores syrup. Ooh, Tarani's s'mores syrup. Chocolate shake, PB2, sugar-free chocolate syrup. Yummy. Let's see, look at some other ones here. Lori's got again, the PB2 keeps popping up with chocolate, and then adding in a tablespoon of the chocolate pudding mix. Yeah, some good ones.
Tootsie Roll Shake, right? The Diet Orange Sunkist Soda with the chocolate 120. That's a really nice way to get lots of volume too, because when you're using that diet soft drink, right, you get all the flavor. You're not diluting the flavor, but you can add a little bit more liquid to it. Hey, welcome back, Kate.
Thank you.
You did a disappearing act.
I know. I'm so sorry. We're having a crazy storm here, and my block lost its internet.
Oh, well, welcome back.
Thank
you.
Jen was just talking about the day after the holiday. What about PA? We haven't tackled that, Kate. What do you think? What do you think?
It's something to think about, you know, want to have a strong PA plan. And I think there are years past that I was thinking, well, I'm going to be walking around with my kiddos, so I'm going to be getting a ton of PA in.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, now she's frozen.
Oh, goodness. So I'm going to guess where Kate was going with that. Okay, there you are. You're back.
Like you were saying too before, Jen, how those little fun size snack bites, they just add up so quickly. You know, I could eat 1,000 calories at the snap of my fingers, and am I then going to walk close to 10 miles to burn it off? We just cannot rely on physical activity to offset extra calories coming in. And so physical activity can help. It reinforces positive food choices, but we really do have to have a good game plan with our calories in.
That's great. Someone shared with me this week that at their gym, there was a board with the candy wrappers taped on or glued onto the board, and next to it, the amount of walking you'd have to do to burn off those calories.
Right.
for each candy.
Hours.
Yes.
Hours for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And it's no joke. You mentioned how easy it would be to take in 1,000 calories. I mean, if you think about those Butterfinger fun size Butterfingers I mentioned, how easy would it be to eat 10 of those? So easy.
Yeah.
Or fill in your favorite candy, you know. So we don't want to, we just need to be mindful. Really do.
Jennifer says you can't outrun that Butterfinger.
No, you can't.
Oh, you can't outrun your fork.
No, you cannot. True.
Oh, goodness. Well, let's take a look. I know throughout our event here, a lot of folks have been throwing out some strategies and recipes, and, you know, want to make sure that we do something with that. What do you say we do the accountability spotlight, Kate?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, really the goal in these sessions is for you to contribute to the broader, wonderful community, and also think about something that you can do to enhance your plans. And sometimes it's just having a new recipe that you can look forward to trying. And then, of course, there are times that we have faced some bumps in the road and we want to get back on track. And this is the perfect time to think about, what will I do this weekend so that my weekend is successful? I want to look back Monday morning and really be proud of the work that I have done. And we have wonderful suggestions in our feed that I'm catching up on now. And also Lori and others have also mentioned hot shakes, also great things to try. So want you to post, what will you commit to doing? What will you share with our community that you will do this weekend in the spirit of staying on track with your goals and your plans?
That's great. Yeah, so I think we're just kind of going to bring it all together here. You know, the goal of this event, this Halloween happy hour, was, you know, just to help you think through your challenges, have a plan going into this Halloween holiday so that, you know, we get a strong start to this holiday season for one, but also, you know, we want to keep our goals for our own health and weight in mind with our choices we make. Again, Halloween marks the beginning of this holiday season. And, you know, we hope that, you know, that with HMR, we can stay on track but still enjoy the holiday. You know, we talked about a lot of different things we could still do that, you know, don't have to do anything with food. So maybe there's something new to try this season. You know, we want the holidays to look different than perhaps they did prior to HMR. And there are things that we can do that we think can be just as enjoyable without the regrets. So,
Sandi, one last quick tip I wanted to mention is just the power of record keeping.
yes.
Tracking on the weekend is huge. I'm actually in phase 1 and I plan to be in the box. And if folks tonight are also in phase 1, if you plan to be in the box, then share those plans with our community. Also, when you are tracking, if you are in phase 1, you can in the morning check in the box and then make it your mission throughout the day to make sure you will not remove that check. But just really think about record keeping as a strategy too, that the more you track, you're much more likely to be able to make the choices that you want.
I love that. So smart.
Right.
Well, come Monday morning, we want to be able to look back on this weekend, proud of the work we did. And part of that is being here on this group tonight, just willing to hear some new ideas and to try some things. Get yourself set up for success. So we hope you've enjoyed this episode with Kate, Jen, and myself as much as we've enjoyed being here. And we hope to see you next time. So next week, Coach Kate will be back and she'll have Coach Nancy with her. They're going to be focusing on creating healthy habits going into the holidays. So you don't want to miss that. Definitely timely. All right. Well, thank you and happy Halloween, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Halloween.